It is time to breathe again on the latest breath of fresh air, Shortie, with your host Charles Taylor. It has been a while since I have been on a shorty, guess a couple of weeks. So I have a little bit of catching up to do. I'll do one for Monday, and hopefully I can do another one later on this week. But for today's episode, we're going to discuss some college football. Now, I get it. NFL's going on in full swing. Lots of action going on there. You have the World Series going on in Major League Baseball between the Texas Rangers and Arizona Diamondbacks. And you also have the NBA and NHL uh, starting their seasons up in the past week and a half or so. A lot going on. All four major sports in North America going on at the same time. It's an awesome moment to be a sports fan with everything going on in unison. But I'm going to go college football here because I had heard some craziness last week involving USC quarterback Caleb Williams. Now, as we know about Williams, he is last year's Heisman Trophy winner. He was a favorite to win the Heisman Trophy this year, and USC was a trendy pick. I don't know why they were a trendy pick, but they were a trendy pick to compete for a college football playoff berth this year. That looks like that is gone down the drain. They already have two losses. They got blasted by Notre Dame a couple of weeks ago, 48-20, and Utah got them last week on a last second field goal, and they won that game 34-32. And this week, this past Saturday, they had to come from behind to win a game at California. So USC is not going to be in the college football playoff. I think that is pretty clear. I think that I can say that pretty safely, and I never thought they were going to be that big of a threat anyway. Mainly because Lincoln Riley is their head coach, and Lincoln Riley teams, even going back to the days in Oklahoma, as y'all have heard me say many times, they don't play any defense. So if you can't play defense, you're not winning any championships. And that is still the case with USC, and will probably always remain the case as long as Lincoln Riley is coaching a football team. But with Caleb Williams, the thing that was going through the airwaves last week was people thought he should just sit out the rest of the season. Now that USC has lost two games, everything, I guess the fans and the people who thought the Trojans could be one of the top teams in the nation, once all that went down the drain, people were saying Williams should sit out the rest of the season. Just skip the rest of the season and get ready for the NFL. That to me is pathetic. It's asinine, it's despicable, and it's disgusting. What now? The USC's dreams of winning a championship are gone. He should just sit out. And now the USC really doesn't have anything to play for, which they could still technically win the Pac-12. I don't think they will, but technically they're still in the running for it. And they have games coming up with Washington, Oregon, and UCLA, which they could lose all three of those games, and I would be surprised if they did lose all three of those games. But there's still a hope they can win the conference in the final year of assistance. I know Oregon State and Washington State are saying they want to keep the Pac-12 by themselves, but I don't see that happening either. Uh, as we know it, this is the final year of existence for the Pac-12 because all those teams are going to either the Big Ten or the Big 12 or wherever. The ACC as well, when you're talking about Stanford and California. Um, but I had heard people say Caleb Williams should sit out. I don't understand why that's even a thing. I never understood it. I know the people who say sit out, they're trying to protect the draft stock. They're trying to preserve his stock. Even going into the season, people were saying this is the Caleb Williams sweepstakes for those teams who want to tank in the NFL. More on that in a minute. But for the people who say he should sit out, again, y'all are disgusting. That's despicable and stupid. Because where were y'all at earlier in the season? USC was the trendy pick, right? So you wanted him to play all those games, and now all of a sudden USC does technically, or I mean, practically has nothing to play for. Now y'all want him to sit out. That's crazy. Yep, you know what? USC is done. Let's just give up on the season now. That's despicable. And where did that culture come from? I don't know where it became okay for people to say, you know what? You don't have anything else to play for. That just give up. Just give up on the season. Leave your teammates, the same teammates you said you was gonna be here for. You was gonna ride or die with them, and now all of a sudden just sit out. Now, to Caleb Williams' credit, he did say he would play out the season. He's gonna stay in there and battle with the rest of his teammates for a season. And that for that I commend him for. And y'all know me, I'm not the biggest Caleb Williams fan. I think he has a lot of talent. I think he's a good player, just not as good as everyone makes him out to be. Uh, I know he won the Heisman Trophy last year. Personally, I don't think he should have. But I understand why people felt he should. And I understand why he would win it. I can understand it from multiple perspectives. Uh, but if we're going to look at this from an NFL draft perspective, Caleb Williams has a lot of work to do. So, him saying he is not going to sit out the rest of the season, that's actually a good thing because he needs a lot of work. His draft stock in general, the stock or where he's projected to go, that probably won't change too much either way because he's a quarterback, number one, and everybody's crazy about quarterbacks. And number two, he's still projected to be a top 3 or 4 pick. I don't think it's necessarily the Caleb Williams sweepstakes like everyone wants to put out there. But he's going to be probably in the top 5 at the very least. But he has a lot of work to do. He is not good at all from the pocket. He might be in terms of if you give him that first read and that read is open, then he can hit it real quick. But all of his big plays, or almost all of his big plays, comes when he's able to get outside of the pocket, scramble, and make some wild throws and make some wild plays. He's more than capable of making those plays. But if you can keep him in the pocket, he's not nearly as effective. So he has to work on getting better in the pocket and be that true dual threat if he wants to have success in the NFL. If that doesn't happen, he's going to struggle. So he needs that extra work. He needs to be on the field. So for all those people who want to say sit out, try looking at it from that perspective too, because he needs to work, y'all. He needs the work. Notre Dame and Utah have shown that. And y'all have heard me say this about Caleb. He has to get better in the pocket if he's going to be the dominant pro prospect everyone thinks he can be. I've heard comparisons to Patrick Mahomes. I, can we stop with those comparisons? He's not there yet, and it's probably going to be a while before he gets there if he gets there. Let's concentrate on the rest of this season and let's see if he can get better from the pocket because he's going to need it. If he thinks he's going to outrun everybody in the pros, that's not going to happen. And again, he's going to struggle. But on the good note, I am glad he said he's not going to sit out. Well, that is what I'm breathing on for today. Y'all make sure y'all visit the Breath of Fresh Air YouTube channel. Smash that subscribe button and follow the Breath of Fresh Air Facebook page. There will be a couple of announcements coming up the next time I do the Shortie, so, or do a Shortie. So stay tuned. Until then, I hope everyone's having a great Monday and take it easy. I'll talk to y'all later on this week. Take care.